Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, The Flash, Jay Garrick, and this is the Platinum Chase variant. This is a paint variant of the regular version. This one has a lot darker colors. It looks to be in the same sort of color scheme or outfit from Jay Garrick The Flash TV show. It's a pretty nice Platinum Chase variant, a whole lot better than those old unpainted artist-proof figures. I want to give two big shout-outs for how I got this figure. One big shout-out to Justin. I messaged him through MSN Messenger via Facebook. I'd seen he had a post saying he found this figure. And another big shout-out to my boy Carl. He brought that to my attention, showed me the post, found the guy's name, pointed me in the right direction. I reached out, we made a deal, and here it is. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, The Flash, Jay Garrick. And this is a McFarlane Platinum Edition figure. It's been a while since we had a desirable Platinum Edition. Here he is in the package, much darker paint scheme, but everything else should be exactly the same. We have a display stand, collector's card, total of 4 hands, and then 4 Speed Force effects. One side of the package, The Flash, Jay Garrick The Flash Age. Other side, The Flash, Jay Garrick. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, if that helps anybody. But the barcode is going to be the same as the standard version of Flash. And on the back, here he is from the old school comics. This is the original Flash, before Barry Allen, Jay Garrick. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now look at this figure out of the package. Here he is with all his accessories laid out. Display stand, collector's card, total of 4 hands, and 4 Speed Force effects. But before we look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Jay Garrick The Flash, old school Flash, the original version from the Golden Age, part of the Justice Society of America, and this is the Platinum Chase variant in a darker paint job. Now this guy could be one of two things. I believe he's supposed to be sort of an homage to the TV show appearance from Jay Garrick. He was in an outfit just like this. But if you want to use him with a different character, he could be a good fill-in for the Rival. The Rival was pretty much like the Reverse Flash in the Golden Age. Looked just like Jay Garrick, but in darker colors. So let's take a look at him. Start with his head here. He's got that old bucket head, sci-fi type look. He's got the wings on the side. Cheeks are quite rosy, looks a little odd. Hair is a darker brown. Outfit, much darker red. You can see the Flash symbol. It's simply outlined in yellow, but it's the same as the rest of his suit. He's got the gloves, the fingers cut off, dark blue pants, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, wings coming off his boots. Overall, he looks pretty good. I really am enjoying these newer Platinum Chase variants that actually mean something. Different paint jobs that make sense. They're not these unpainted, useless figures. Now, the problem is just tracking them down. And like I said before, there are 2 possible things you could use this figure as. Here's one. This is probably what I'm going to use mine as. The Rival. He's like an old school Golden Age version of the Reverse Flash. Kind of an opposite of the Jay Garrick Flash from the old days. Here's an image of that. And here's an image of the Jay Garrick Flash from the Flash TV show. This paint scheme definitely looks like that. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Looks good. Not really sure about those rosy cheeks though. Honestly, he looks a lot like Chris Evans, the actor that plays Captain America in the Avengers universe. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, same McFarlane stand we've seen a million times. Black perfect circle, it says DC, and it's got 1 peg for the peg holes on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Jay Garrick The Flash, old school, Golden Age. The Flash, Jay Garrick from Jay Garrick The Flash Age. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Here's the Platinum Chase collector's card on the left, next to the standard version on the right. That's about my only complaint about the new Platinum figures. The collector's cards are identical. They used to have a silver border or something at least a little bit different, and they still should. But as a whole, I'm really liking the direction they're going with the Platinum Chase figures compared to what they were doing before. Now let's take a look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 running hands and 2 fisted hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of running hands. Every single Flash figure they release should come with a pair of running hands. But if it's only going to have one pair of hands, I would pick a different set. Probably a pair of gripping hands, because it looks kind of dumb when he's not in a running pose with hands like this. Still, you need some running hands for when he's running, because that's what the Flash does. You could also use his hands as slapping hands, just like Batman stereotypically bitch slaps Robin. Here's Jay Garrick, getting ready to bitch slap the Kid Flash. Nice slapping hand. Now for his Speed Force effects. He has 4 of them. They're all a unique sculpt, and they're cast in a semi-transparent yellow plastic. Kind of bendable here, you can put them on his different limbs. Here's Flash in a running pose. As much as I don't like display stands, they really help with something like this. And here he is, running in pose with the Speed Force effects attached. Now I wanted to check out the differences between the regular version of the Jay Garrick Flash and the Platinum Chase variant. There are absolutely no sculpting differences, just a bunch of paint differences. Pretty much everything is darker, from the helmet to even the wings. The red, the absence of yellow, the blue, it's all a much darker shade. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.3 inches tall, which can translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far. Pretty good range of motion there. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering that large gap. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got ball joint his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another one on his waist, rotate around, forward and back, giving him very impressive range of motion in his torso area. A little more in his torso than his waist. Legs, almost complete as splits, not a ball joint, McFarlane style hip joints. They go forward, about that far, back, not much, rotations, non-existent. Double jointed knees, then his ankle here, forward and back. Rotation, tilt, rock, and he has toe articulation. For this next scene, let's switch to a city type setting. Here's Jay Garrick running through the streets of Keystone City. Here's a closer side view of Jay Garrick running, and here's a frontal view. Jay Garrick, old school Flash. He finally comes to a halt. After standing there for a moment, another speedster bursts right in. You can see flames on the ground as Barry Allen stops to talk to Jay Garrick. The Ezra Miller Barry Allen is speaking a mile a minute, trying to explain to Jay Garrick why he needs his help, what the huge threat to the multiverse is. As they're having a conversation, yet another Ezra Miller Barry Allen steps in. They're both talking so fast, Jay Garrick's having trouble understanding. They're explaining huge threat on the multiverse. Jay Garrick says, "Man, I think we're gonna need some help." One of the Barry Allens speeds away and then comes back with, "Yeah, you guessed it." Jay Garrick looks toward Batman and says, "Oh my God, you're..." And of course the Keaton Batman looks at him and says, "Yeah, I'm Batman." But then, something keeps happening. Another Batman drops in from the Speed Force. He looks confused. Well, they wanted some help. They've got it. All of a sudden, a bunch of different Flashes start popping in. Some aren't even from this universe. Some aren't even from live action. Some aren't even Barry Allen. More and more Batmen started popping in. They're coming from all different universes, from the multiverse, dropping out of the Speed Force. It just still seems like maybe they don't have enough help to take care of this impending threat. Here we go. Now I think they're ready. As Jay Garrick is running through the Speed Force, he believes he's corrected all the errors he made in the multiverse. Behind him, out of the Speed Force, comes an old rival. Here's the Jay Garrick Flash being chased by the rival, his arch nemesis, old school Reverse Flash. Here's the Flash in a race to the death with his arch nemesis, the rival. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Jay Garrick and Flash figures. Here's the Platinum Chase Jay Garrick on the left, nicely stand-up version on the right. Both nice additions to the collection. Personally, I'm using this new one as the rival, and I think that's awesome. Then, next to the speed metal version of McFarlane's Jay Garrick, and here he is, next to Mattel's DC Multiverse TV show Flash, Jay Garrick. I'm pretty sure this is what they were going for with the repaint. Here are all the different Jay Garrick Flash figures that I have. There are plenty more out there that I don't have. Now let's check them out. Next to some other McFarlane Speed Force figures. Here are all the different Jay Garrick figures McFarlane has made. And here he is, next to the Barry Allen Rebirth Flash. Then, next to the Barry Allen Injustice Flash. And here he is, next to the Barry Allen Flash played by Ezra Miller from the DC Cinematic Universe. Then, next to the Barry Allen Flash played by Grant Gustin from the CW Flash TV show. And now, with the Page Puncher's Flash. And here, with the Barry Allen Speed Metal Flash. Here he is, with 3 different Wally West Flash figures. Then, with a couple of Wallace West Kid Flash figures. And now, with a couple of Reverse Flash figures. He's more or less the Golden Age version of the Reverse Flash. At least the rival, who I'm going to be using this figure for. Here he is, next to Godspeed. Then, next to the Dark Flash. Here are all the different Speed Force figures McFarlane has made so far. There are a total of 22 of them. Ton of variations. I believe the next one going to come out is the Target exclusive Impulse, and then we're going to get all the different Speed Force figures they're going to make for the upcoming Flash film. This Flash is a McFarlane Platinum Chase variant. That means he's a rare variant, randomly packed in. It's something like 1 of every 1,000 is going to be this way. I'm not saying that's the ratio, I have no idea what it is, but they're pretty rare. McFarlane has made a ton of different Platinum Chase variants in their DC line, as well as a bunch of their other lines. Here are the first 2 they made, the all-bronze Batman and Joker from Arkham Asylum. Then, they released the all-gold Arkham Knight Batman and Arkham Origins Deathstroke. The next one was a silver armor Gorilla Grodd from Injustice 2. And I was able to get 3 of these Platinum Chase Gorilla Grodds. I used them as soldiers in Grodd's Gorilla Army. The next Platinum Chase variant they released, this is a Ben Affleck Batman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. This one had the goggles up. At this point, McFarlane decided to switch up their Platinum Chase variants. They made these unpainted artist-proof figures. And I don't know, I guess they thought people were going to want these things. I could see if you want to repaint them yourselves, maybe. But for the most part, they were undesirable. I'm a completist, so I'm tracking down all the different variants. But I really don't get any joy from these things. They just sort of fill a slot on my checklist. A lot of people would get really disappointed when they would order a figure, expect to get the regular version, and get one of these. I can definitely understand if you don't want one of these, and it would be very annoying. But McFarlane listened to feedback, and they stopped doing these. After that, they took the hint. They started releasing Platinum Chase variants. They were actual desirable figures. So far, they've given us the darker variant of the Jay Garrick Flash and the Superpowers repaint of the Rebirth Mr. Freeze. I can't wait to see what's next. I love the direction they're going with these Platinum Chase variants. Now, just gotta track them down. Here are all the Platinum Chase variants in the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. I have no idea what's next, but I can see them doing a Superpowers repaint of Calabac. We'll see. And now let's check them out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern figure. This is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. And here he is, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy wave. Collect and build Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. Then, next to the Kingdom Come Armored Batman and the Dark Knight's Metal Gladiator Batman. And now, next to the Jay Garrick Flash, Colonel Superboy, and Duke Thomas the Signal. And here he is, next to the most recent Batman wave. We have Nightfall Catwoman, Hush Batman, Rebirth Mr. Freeze, and Infinite Frontier Joker. Then, next to the Walmart exclusive Gold Label Vampire Batman and Eradicator. And now, next to the Target exclusive Gold Label Deadman and Flashpoint Aquaman. Here's the Flash, next to the Shazam 2 movie Shazam and the Amazon exclusive Tim Drake Robin. And here he is, next to the Amazon exclusive Batman Family 5-pack. Then, next to the most recent McFarlane DC Gaming Wave, we have the Arkham City Sick Joker and the Arkham Knight Red Hood and Scarecrow. And now, with McFarlane's Mortal Kombat 11 DC offerings, the Batman Who Laughs, and both versions of Joker, here's Flash, next to McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Hush Superman and Rebirth Kid Flash. Now let's check him out, next to some other McFarlane Build-A-Figure waves. Here he is, next to the Target exclusive Crime Syndicate wave, Collect-A-Build Star the Conqueror. And here he is, with the Speed Metal wave, collect to build the Darkest Night. Then, next to the Batman Arkham City wave, collect to build an undersized Solomon Grundy. And here are the Walmart exclusive gold label black and gray variants. Here he is, next to the two most recent mega figures, Mongol and Frankenstein. And now let's check him out, next to some Page Punchers. Here he is next to the third wave of Page Punchers. This is a Flash themed wave. Flash, the Atom, Heatwave, Gorilla Grodd, and both versions of Captain Cold. And here he is next to the second wave of Page Punchers. This is based off Injustice 2, Dr. Fate, Supergirl, Batman, and Green Arrow. And finally, here he is next to the first wave of Page Punchers. This is a Black Adam themed wave. Batman, Superman, Constantine, and Black Adam. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, work way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Flash figures as I can during these comparisons. Here he is, next to some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. Here's Jay Garrick, next to a lit candle. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Flash figures. And here, standing with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collected figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Flash figures. And here he is, next to some Mayfix figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a very nice figure. I really like where they're going with the Platinum Chase variants. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. Articulation is everything you'd expect. Accessories, Speed Force stuff, it's pretty cool. I love the fact that I can use this for a completely different character, the old school rival. If I had to rate this guy, I'm going to give it a nice 8 out of 10. I'm really enjoying this guy a lot, especially because I can use him for a brand new character that has no release in action figure form. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.